here, and I'd like to welcome you to episode number 24 of Nicole's Weekly Words. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day, especially on a Monday, to join me here live in my Facebook group, The Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher, on my Facebook page, Sydney English Teacher, and over on my YouTube channel, The Successful English Learner. If you're joining me on the replay, that's absolutely fine too. And I really thank you for, again, taking the time. All of my replays live on the page, in the group, and on the YouTube channel anyway. So you're more than welcome to come back anytime to watch them, to learn, and to visit the previous videos because, you know, we've already done 24 episodes. That's quite a few words. Anyway, I hope that you're all doing really, really well and that you had a wonderful weekend and that you're ready to start learning some fabulous new vocabulary and to start the week off right with that mindset that vocabulary is important and I am going to learn something new every single day. Wonderful. Well, this week we are looking at words that begin with the letter P. That's right. So I'm going to share with you 5 words that begin with the letter P from the alphabet, and I think they're quite good words that you'll be able to use, hopefully, quite naturally by the end of the week in your daily conversation and in your writing too. So this week I've chosen the word paramount, polyglot, pinnacle, procrastinate, and pragmatic. Maybe you've heard of some of these words before. That's absolutely fine, and I'm happy to know that. However, do stick around because I'll be teaching you exactly what they mean. I'll be simplifying them as much as possible, giving you lots and lots of details of what they mean and how to use them. And more importantly, I'll be sharing with you some great example sentences so that you can see exactly how they are used in real life, I suppose, in practical situations. Don't forget that after you watch this video, do go and visit my Facebook group, The Successful English Learner, and download the worksheet for this week's episode number 24. That's where you will find all of the words, all of the meanings, and all of the example sentences that I give you today. And there's room for you to add your own notes as well, which is wonderful. Anyway, are you ready to start learning? Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's start with word number 1 for this week. And we're looking at the word paramount. Paramount. Can you say that? That's it, paramount. And look, let's break it down. Paramount is when something is more important than anything else. Yeah, it's when something is the number one. It's the number one priority. It's the number one focus, I suppose. It's the number one. It really comes before everything else. It's the most important. It's as simple as that. So if something is paramount, it's of the greatest importance. You know, nothing else comes before it. It's the number one. It's at the very, very top. Does that make sense? Yeah, paramount. Maybe you have a similar word in your language for paramount. Don't think about it. Let's replace it with the word paramount instead. So look, we could say to be paramount. So for example, doing your homework is paramount. Or we could say to be of paramount importance. There we could say learning English is of paramount importance. We could also say to be a matter of paramount importance. For example, discussing this matter with your parents is a matter of paramount importance. So there's really 3 options there for using that particular word. Let's have a look at some example sentences. Our team has many important projects to complete this year, but this particular project and its success is of paramount importance to us all. Number 2, we all agree that a child's education and giving them the best start in life is paramount. Or his paramount goal is to study medicine at university and to become a doctor. One more. Passing this final exam and graduating with an impressive result is paramount for your future studies as well as for your future career. There you go. Number 2, are you ready for the second word for this week? I've chosen the word polyglot. Can you say that? Polyglot. Yeah. And look, polyglot is a word dear to my heart because you all know how much I love languages and I love learning languages and teaching languages, obviously. So I love this word so much. So what does it mean? Polyglot is used to describe a person who can speak or maybe who can write or understand several languages. So they can read or write or understand or speak more than one language, okay? More than 2 or 3 languages often. They're really talented when it comes to communicating in other languages. And I suppose they're naturally gifted at this, or maybe they have a great interest in languages. So if they're a polyglot, you know, they're great at communicating in many different languages or understanding many different languages. It comes easily to them. You could say that they're multilingual, I suppose. You know, a person who is multilingual can speak more than one language. Just like you, I suppose all of you are multilingual. You're here learning English, but in addition to that, you also speak your native language, your mother tongue, and maybe some other languages as well. So you're all multilingual, you're all polyglots. Congratulations. Look, polyglot, this expression, is not just used to describe people. We could also use this to describe books or publications, anything that has been printed in more than one language. So, you know, you can buy a book where on one page it's written in English and on the other page it's written in French or Spanish or Japanese or, I don't know, Mandarin, whatever it might be. So you could describe this book as being a polyglot edition or a polyglot publication because it is published and written in more than one language within that same book. So that's pretty cool. And look, you could also use the word polyglot when you're talking about a country, I suppose, or a place where different languages are used, where more than one language exists and it's normal. You know, Switzerland comes to mind, you know, they all learn and speak 4 languages plus, you know. So that's a polyglot country or a polyglot nation, I suppose. And the people inside that country are all polyglots as well. Let's have a look at some example sentences. He can only be described as being a polyglot. He can speak 7 languages and he has the skill to pick up new languages and to communicate, excuse me, to pick up new languages and to communicate easily when he's traveling. What a star. Number 2, what an impressive polyglot. With the ability to speak several languages fluently, He makes it look so easy. I wish I had his talent. Or the last one, Switzerland has a true population of polyglots. You're right. Number 3, sorry, not 4. The third word that I'd like to teach you today is pinnacle. Pinnacle. Can you say that? Yeah, pinnacle, well done. And look, a pinnacle is really the highest point, or the highest point of development, I suppose, or the highest point of achievement. So it's really the top of the top, you know. You can't go any higher than the pinnacle. You can't get any better than the pinnacle. It's like the tip of the mountain, you know. You can't go any higher once you've reached that top of the mountain. So look, the pinnacle is really the most successful or the most admired part of an achievement. It's the most successful point or part of something. As I said, the top of that mountain. So if someone reaches the pinnacle of their career, for example, or the pinnacle of a particular area of their life even, they're at the highest point of it, you know. They're at the peak. That would be another word, the peak. They can't really go any higher. It's not possible. They can't really achieve anything better or anything more than that because they're already at the very, very, very top of the top. Does that make sense? So yeah, think of the idea of the top of the mountain. That's the pinnacle, the very top. Some examples. By the age of just 30, she had reached the pinnacle of her career, with worldwide success and millions of fans. Number 2, participating in the Olympic Games is the absolute pinnacle of sporting achievement, and a dream for many, many young athletes too. Number 3, becoming the Prime Minister is the absolute pinnacle of politics. But it's not a role for everyone. So there you go, there's pinnacle. Let's move on to the word procrastinate. That's a long one. Let's break it down. Procrastinate. Procrastinate. Can you say that? That's it. Procrastinate. Well done. And look, when you procrastinate, okay, it means that you delay or you postpone something because you don't really want to do it, you know, you put it off, you want to do it later, you want to do anything else now. So it's often used to describe students, I suppose, who have a lot of work or a lot of study to do, and if they procrastinate, they really do anything else to avoid that particular task. You know, they might even clean the toilets or do the ironing. All of those boring, horrible activities sound so much more attractive and interesting to them at that particular point in time because they will do anything to avoid doing what they really should be doing but don't want to. Does that make sense? So if they're procrastinating, they might have an assignment they need to complete, but they don't want to because they might find it difficult or boring or they're not interested. So instead, they try and find any other activity to keep them busy, to avoid doing that assignment. So as I said, they might clean the toilet, or they might, I don't know, they might maybe, I don't know, sort the socks, something like that. You know, activities that we normally don't want to do suddenly sound so much more exciting if you're procrastinating. Yeah, that's what it is. So people often procrastinate because they don't want to do something. that they find quite boring, or they don't want to do something that for them is uninteresting or not fun. So that's the word procrastinate. I'm sure you've all done it. I've done it many times and I still do. What do you procrastinate about? Yeah, well, with me, it's always the housework, you know, the cleaning, the washing, all of those fun things. Let's have a look at some examples. I really have to stop procrastinating and get this essay written. I'm running out of time. Number 2, when it comes to doing the washing, I tend to procrastinate until we have nothing left to wear. That sounds like me. Number 3, the fact that he always procrastinates is a real worry. He's not motivated in his studies at all. We've got to do something about that. So I hope you enjoyed learning that word. Now our final word for this week is pragmatic. Can you say that? Pragmatic. Yeah, pragmatic. It's a little bit easier than procrastinate. The meaning of this word is, how should I explain it? When a person is pragmatic, or maybe if they take a pragmatic approach, it means that they deal with things quite sensibly and quite realistically, I suppose. They deal with things in a way that is practical instead of theoretical. Does that make sense? So yeah, someone who's pragmatic is really practical, and they are sensible and realistic in any situation. So yeah, when it comes to problems, for example, if you are pragmatic, it means that you solve these problems in a sensible way, you know, in a way that suits the situation, instead of relying on, you know, maybe fixed theories or rules that won't necessarily work in that situation. Does that make sense? Yeah, the rules or the theories might work in other situations, but you have the brain, you have the practical skills to realize that in this particular situation they won't work. So you are being pragmatic by finding a solution for this unique situation. Cool. Okay, that's what it means. Some examples. In business, a pragmatic approach to problems is always the most successful. Or he made the pragmatic decision to sell the car because it was costing him more in maintenance than in petrol. And buying a newer car was really the better option. Or we could say, she is practical, pragmatic, and approachable. She will make a great team leader. So there you go. There are words for this week, for episode number 24. We've got the word paramount. We've got the word polyglot. We've got the word pinnacle, procrastinate, and finally, do you remember the last one? Yeah, it was pragmatic. So paramount, polyglot, pinnacle, procrastinate, and pragmatic. All fabulous words beginning with the letter P. I hope you really enjoyed learning them and listening to this lesson. Your job now is to use them, to practice them, to force yourself to use these great new words. You can write some sentences to practice. Use my own sentences as a guide and then write your own. You can write them on your hand and use them when you're speaking. Yeah, there's lots of situations where you could use these. These are quite general words that you could use almost every day in any situation. So create a situation to use them. That would be my tip. come back again maybe in a few days and watch the video again just to revise what they are. Oh, and don't forget to download the worksheet for episode 24, where you'll find all of the information, all of the words, the meanings, the example sentences. So I always recommend download it, print it out, and then watch the video again, look at my notes, and then add your own notes and your own sentences, and that will really help it stick. Well, that's all for this week. That is episode 24. I hope you really enjoyed learning those words and that you have even more fun using them. If you've got any questions, just ask in the comments section below. And yeah, please come back again next week for episode number 25. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.